Assalamualaikum and a very good day to Dr. Gani. In this video, we will be presenting our lesson plan for assignment 2. We will start by presenting our students, which is Form 2 intermediate students, and our focus skills is writing skills. The theme of our lesson plan is people and culture, and the short film that we will be using is Feast by Patrick Osborne. Next is the content standards. The content standards for our lesson plan is communicate intelligibly through print and digital media on familiar topic, and the learning standards is produce a plan or draft of 2 paragraphs or more and modify this appropriately either in response to feedback or independently. Next is learning objectives. By the end of this lesson, our students will be able to identify moral values found in the video, list the characteristic of a good friend in the task sheet provided, complete the brainstorming template as a draft before writing the essay, construct 2 paragraphs of a narrative essay individually by referring to the written draft on the given template, and last but not least, fill in the exit cards with valuable lessons that they have learned. Moving on to success criteria, students can write at least 2 moral values and at least 1 justification to support their answers in the mind map, describe at least 3 characteristics of a good friend in the given task sheet, elaborate their draft by writing at least 2 or 3 sentences in the brainstorming task sheet, write at least 2 paragraphs of the essay individually based on the given template, and last but not least, write at least 2 valuable lessons that they have learned from the lessons. Thank you. And that's all from me. Moving on to Kaiser.
Okay, so the next one is language and grammar focus. So we are focusing on adjectives, characteristics, and for example, honest, loyal, and generous. Okay, next one. Okay, so for our set induction, we will play a lyric video at the start of the lesson. So it is a song by Bruno Mars titled Count on Me. Okay, after we play it, a discussion will be made and the teacher will ask questions related to the song. Okay, the value, friendship, and loyalty will be asked to the students. Like, do you think you have the qualities as a best friend? What do you think is the quality of a best friend? And do you think you have the qualities? Okay, so the reason why we use this song is because it portrays the value of a friendship, the lyrics, and it will activate the relevant schemata for the students about the topic so that they will be understanding it for the next stages. Okay, that's all from me.
In the pre-lesson stage, we will be playing a video. So before we play the video, the teacher will first distribute a task sheet to the students so that when the video is being played, the students will answer questions regarding the video as they watch the video. Then, once the video has finished playing, we will discuss the questions with the students related to the video to see if they have understood the moral values of the video, the outcome of the video. Then lastly, we will distribute a task sheet to the students in the form of a brace map. Now, this brace map, the students will have to fill in the moral values that they have found from the video.
Okay, the walk stage is allocated to 20 minutes. All right, the students will be given 2 task sheets in the beginning of the stage. The first one is the characteristic template, and then the second one is a narrative AC brainstorming template. The first one, however, the students first have to fill in the characteristic template first. Teachers will instruct them, and then they will monitor. The teacher will have to monitor the students closely while they're completing the first task sheet. Then the teacher will teach them the format of the essay. As they're doing narrative essay, the teacher will actually ask the students to recall themselves the format by calling out one student. We're asking one student to volunteer to write the format while the other students give the answer, and then only the teacher will proceed to explain on the second task sheet, which is the narrative essay brainstorming task sheet. This task sheet is a guide for the students to draft out their essay before they write their essay in the post stage. However, this essay would be done individually because the students have to include personal recount to support their essay. That is all. We'll now move on to post lesson.
Okay. During the post lesson, the teacher will give the students an essay writing task sheet and explain what they have to do. So during this stage, the students will have to write at least 2 paragraphs of the narrative essay individually. Okay. Why do we do it individually? Is as stated earlier, they will need to use their personal experience to justify the content. So it will be better for them to work on the task individually. And also during this stage, the students will be given 10 minutes to write the 2 paragraphs. If a student with higher proficiency manages to finish the 2 paragraphs before the time given, they will be asked to write up an extra paragraph. During this whole writing process, the teacher will closely monitor students' work and provide necessary feedback and assistance where needed. Okay, the next stage would be presentation. Okay, during the presentation, there will be 10 minutes to allocated. The teacher will call at least 2 volunteers to present their 2 paragraphs that they have written in front of the class. So after the presentation, students will discuss the essay presented in terms of the format and the points given. Then the teacher will provide additional feedback to the presenter based on the comments given and add extra feedback if required.
Alright, moving on to the closure stage of the lesson, it will take around 5 minutes. So first the teacher will recap the activities that the students have done throughout the lesson, and the teacher will hand out exit cards after this to the students. After this, the teacher will then instruct students to fill in the exit cards about what they have learned during the lesson, specifically in terms of which valuable lessons they have learned. Now, the rationale for this is because the exit cards will help students in using the language meaningfully, as it is their own take on what is the most valuable thing that they have learned in the lesson. Once that is done and the lesson is over, for the extended activity, the students will be asked to go home and complete the rest of their essay and submit it to the class Padlet. Now for our lesson, we have several teaching and learning strategies. The first one being 21st century skills, specifically exit cards, which were used in the closure stage of the lesson. We then have an I think map in the form of a brace map, which was used in the pre-lesson of this lesson. We also have skills of HOTS, so specifically apply, analyze, and create, which the students have to apply throughout the lesson when doing their activities. And lastly, the formative assessment for this lesson will be done during the while and post stage. That's all from us. Thank you.